first step on our adventure is the learning farm. Looking around, does anybody know what season it is? Well, there are a couple clues for figuring out what season it is. If you look down, there's no snow on the ground. All of the winter snow has melted. And if you put your arms out, you can feel the warm sun on your hands as our days become longer and the sun comes out and warms up the world. All of these things that we see outside, these are signs of spring. And if we look around, look at clues that let us know, aha, it is springtime in the world. Let's go walk around and see if we can find some. You know where we are? We're in a tree. And the first thing I see immediately is the leaves on this tree. Do you remember how just a few months ago, the trees were bare, the weather was cold, and everything was dead and brown? During the spring, the sun shines for more hours during the day. The plants can sense this and they start making leaves to capture all this energy. So a good sign of spring is when the world becomes greener.
So if we zoom in close at our maple tree, you can see a tiny leaf that just started growing. And everywhere you look on every plant, you'll see new leaves that have just started to grow.
So let's go check out some cool plants with beautiful leaves that are growing around the learning farm. I am right next to one of my favorite plants. Can you see how big it's grown during the springtime? Look at these leaves. Each one is like longer than my arm. And if you feel them, they're really soft. They feel like a blanket. That's why this plant has a really special name. Does anybody know what it's called? It's called lamb's ear, because the leaves are so soft and furry, they feel like a little baby lamb's ear. This is just one of the plants that started growing big leaves as spring came to the garden. Oh wow, what's this? Let's take a closer look and see what that is. Can you see the milky white sap that's coming out of the leaf? This plant is called milkweed, and it is so important because it's the only thing that baby monarch caterpillars can eat. That means that this plant isn't in our garden,
You won't see any monarch butterflies. It's a good thing that all this milkweed starts growing on our farm during the springtime.
So, clearly we've seen that during the springtime, the warm weather means that the world can come alive again and plants start making lots of green leaves to soak in all the sun's energy. But why does that matter? Well, it's actually really important because animals need food to grow. Animals don't have a supermarket they can go to if they're hungry. But now that it's springtime, there's plenty of food. So that means you'll see more animals out, you'll hear more birds chirping in the trees, and you'll see lots of insects buzzing around. And all of this extra food also means something important. It means that it's time to start making babies. So lots of birds start laying eggs and making little baby chicks during the springtime.
So our second sign of spring is babies. All different types of animals have babies during the spring.
That's because they know that there's plenty of food around now, so that they'll be able to feed the chicks during the spring and the summer, and by the fall they'll be big enough to survive the cold, cold winter. All right, now I have something really special to show you. I'm going to show you a real live bird's nest. Ready to check it out? All right, everybody. We're gonna have to be super careful on the next stop at our tour because we're gonna be seeing a real bird's nest with little baby birds and a mama bird.
This is what the nest looked like just a few weeks ago. you can see the bright blue eggs of a robin. Aren't they beautiful? They kind of look like Easter eggs. But now enough time has passed and the eggs have hatched.
We don't want to scare her, so we're going to have to be super quiet and super stealthy. Come on. Right now, I can already see the mama bird in the nest. I think she's trying to feed her babies. Let's go take a closer look.
So you can see the mama bird is sitting on the nest. Her babies are underneath, and she made that nest out of twigs. And look, there's a baby hungry for food.
Can you hear that sound? That's the sound of an angry mama bird. So when mama birds hear and see that there's someone coming towards their nest, they get very protective. They start making that chirp, chirp, chirp sound, saying, "Get away from my babies." Of course, the mama bird thinks I'm a predator trying to eat her babies, so she's trying to distract me and get me away from the nest.
Can you see the mama bird chirping in the tree? And now, whenever I walk
too close to the nest, did you see that? The bird flew over, saying, "Get away! Get away from my babies!"
This is what happened in slow motion. The bird swooped over, and you can tell it was that bright orange robin we heard before. Oh, look at our little baby robins getting their beauty sleep. Let's say goodbye to them as we continue our tour for signs of spring.
Alright, and right behind me on our Signs of Spring tour is one critical part of springtime. Flowers! And oh my god, does it smell amazing. Purple little flowers smell so sweet. They smell like a mixture of ice cream and honey. It's actually just such a delight. And do you know why it smells so good? Well, flowers smell so good not because humans like to smell them. They are actually trying to attract insects. They're trying to get bugs to come and visit them, drink all the nectar from their flowers, and spread pollen all around so this plant can make seeds. So humans are just so lucky to be able to enjoy the beautiful smells of flowers, even though they're not really for us. They're for bees. Oh, wow.
So, for the last stop on our Signs of Spring tour, we're going to be looking at all the different flowers that are blooming at our learning farm.
Did you know that you can even eat some flowers? This was a chive flower, and ooh, it's spicy, just like an onion. That would be good with some chicken salad. And
I bet you've definitely seen these flowers before. They're dandelions. Or maybe you've seen one after it's pollinated and tried blowing away its seeds in the wind. Phew. Wow, these flowers look like little hearts.
Alrighty, now that our tour of the learning farm is done, I challenge you to go outside and look for different signs of spring. As you can see, I have made a checklist for you. So you need to go outside and see how many different signs of spring you can see right in your own backyard. Then you'll go to the next page and you'll get to do a leaf rubbing and also draw something cool that you saw outside. All right, let's see what you can do and find.